He thought it was just a joke, just another laugh at someone else's expense. But when Trevor mocked Darius on that school bus, he didn't just cross a line, he lit a fire. What he didn't expect was that the quiet kid he humiliated would become a voice for millions, and that one cruel comment would change both of their lives forever. Please support us by subscribe, like, and share for more with activating the notification bell. Thank you. It started out like any other school morning. The sun barely peeked through the early fog as the yellow bus rumbled through the quiet suburban streets toward Ridgeview High School. Students yawned, stared out the window, or scrolled through their phones, earbuds in, minds checked out. At the back of the bus sat Trevor, a 17-year-old white student known more for his smug confidence than his grades. He was popular in that loud, careless way, the kind of guy who made others laugh at someone else's expense. Slouched across the back seat, hoodie half on, Trevor was already bored of the day. Then the bus slowed, and another student stepped aboard, Darius, a quiet black junior, who carried himself with purpose and pride. His shoes were clean, but clearly old, well-worn but cared for. He dressed simply with a neat polo shirt and khakis, a backpack patched with science and math club logos. As Darius walked down the aisle looking for a seat, Trevor saw an opportunity to perform. "Yo, Darius," didn't. "No, they let janitors ride the bus now," laughter erupted. A few students chuckled awkwardly. Some looked away. Darius paused, then kept walking. But the camera was already rolling, and so was karma. Trevor had always been a clown. He didn't mean real harm, or so he told himself. He thought he was just being funny, just poking at people who didn't fit in. His friends always laughed and nobody ever checked him. But this time he had no idea how deep the cut went. Darius sat quietly near the front, the laughter still echoing in his ears. His heart pounded. He wasn't a stranger to jokes like that. They'd followed him his whole life, coded comments about his skin, his voice, his clothes, the way he studied too hard. But this one was personal. His father had lost his job 6 months ago, taking up night work as a janitor to keep the family afloat. Darius never felt ashamed of him. In fact, he admired his dad more than anyone. But to have that struggle mocked, publicly, cruelly, left a scar. Still, Darius said nothing. He stared out the window, fists clenched, and promised himself he'd shake it off. But someone else on the bus had caught everything, on camera. And they were about to make sure the world saw what Darius silently endured every day. By second period, the whispers started. By lunch, the video had exploded across social media. It was a 15-second clip, posted on TikTok by a sophomore who usually filmed makeup tutorials. This time, she'd captured Trevor's insult and Darius's silent walk to his seat. The caption read, "This isn't just a joke. This happens every day. Enough is enough." In just a few hours, it hit 100,000 views. By the time school ended, it was over 1 million. Trevor remained oblivious, still reveling in the retelling of his joke. At lunch, he laughed, reenacting the moment for his table. Some laughed with him. Others stayed quiet, shifting uncomfortably. Not everyone saw it as harmless. Jenna, a biracial student and editor of the school's online magazine, had watched it in horror. She'd seen too much of this kind of behavior pass unchecked. She knew Darius, respected him. He was a tutor, a science fair winner, someone who made the school better. She sent an email to the principal that afternoon. "This isn't a joke. This is harassment. You can't ignore it anymore." The wheels were turning. The world was watching. And for the first time, Trevor was about to face consequences beyond the classroom. The next morning, Trevor awoke to chaos. His phone buzzed non-stop. Mentions, messages, DMs. When he opened Instagram, his stomach dropped. He was all over the Explore page, and not in a good way. The video had now reached over 3 million views. Headlines like "Teen Bullies Black Classmate on Bus, Internet Demands Action" flooded his screen. Comment sections were brutal, disgraceful. "He's what's wrong with our schools. He better apologize, publicly. This is racism. Period." Trevor tried to defend himself in a story post, saying it was just a joke, but that only made things worse. Screenshots of his weak apology were posted and ridiculed. His basketball coach pulled him aside. "You're benched indefinitely." This kind of behavior reflects on all of us. Trevor's college applications were suddenly in jeopardy. Teachers, once lenient, now eyed him with suspicion. His classmates avoided him, or worse, called him out to his face. It hit him all at once. He had gone viral for the worst reason possible. He wasn't the victim. He had become the villain. While Trevor's world unraveled, Darius stayed quiet. At least at first. He wasn't used to being the center of attention. He wasn't seeking revenge. But the video's reach forced his hand. That afternoon, Jenna approached him after physics class. "People want to hear from you, Darius. They need to." He hesitated. He didn't like the spotlight. But he thought of his father, working overnight shifts in silence, and of every kid like him who had ever swallowed insults just to keep the peace. That night, Darius sat at his desk and wrote a statement. He poured his heart out, line by line. What happened to me on that bus wasn't just a joke. It was a reflection of something bigger, of how kids like me are seen and often silenced. I'm not ashamed of my shoes. I'm not ashamed of my dad. I'm proud of him and of who I am. You can laugh at what I wear, but you can't laugh away my worth. He posted it to his socials. Jenna reposted it. The school paper featured it, and within hours it had more traction than the original video. Darius had spoken, and the world was listening. Within 48 hours, Darius became a symbol of quiet strength. His words struck a nerve. Major pages shared his post. Celebrities commented with encouragement. A famous black author even offered to sponsor his college books. I Am Darius began trending on Twitter and Instagram. Black students across the country started sharing their own stories of discrimination in schools, citing Darius as their inspiration. A local news station reached out and interviewed both Darius and his father. When asked about the comment, his dad said, "Some people think a man's worth is in his paycheck or his shoes. I think it's in how he treats others." The clip went viral again. Meanwhile, Trevor stayed inside, watching his world crumble from his bedroom. He was getting death threats, sure, but he also started reading the comments, really reading them. For the first time, he listened. And that's when he made a choice, not to disappear, but to speak, not to explain, but to own it. Trevor emailed, "The principal asking to speak at the next school-wide assembly. I want to apologize publicly. No scripts, no PR, just truth." The gym was packed that Friday. Students murmured, unsure of what to expect. Trevor stood on stage, face pale, hands shaking. He didn't have a paper. Just a mic. "I've been the guy who made jokes at other people's expense for years, and I never thought twice, because no one ever made me. But I see it now. What I said to Darius wasn't a joke. It was disrespectful, ignorant, and racist. I made someone feel small so I could look cool. That's not who I want to be. I don't expect forgiveness, but I am sorry, and I'm going to do the work to be better. Starting today." The gym was silent. Then, slowly, hands clapped. Darius stood up from the bleachers. He walked down the aisle and offered Trevor a handshake. Not as friends, but as two people trying to move forward. 1 year later, Darius was attending his dream college, majoring in aerospace engineering. He had a scholarship, a mentor from NASA, and was leading a new program mentoring young students of color interested in STEM. Trevor, after a rough year of self-reflection, was attending community college, working part-time at a youth center where he helped teach anti-bullying workshops. He didn't post much anymore, just listened more. The video stayed online. It became required viewing in Ridgeview High's freshman orientation, part of a new program on equity and respect. What started as a cruel moment of mockery became a powerful turning point for both boys and for the community around them. Because sometimes it takes going viral to finally be seen.